Yo, what up? How you guys doing out there today? This is your boy Roto Beast. I'm here to present you my NBA morning shoot around for Thursday, October 31st. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This way you can watch all my NBA, NFL, and MLB videos. And if you haven't came and checked out our website here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily Fanduel and Draftkings cash signups. Hey, we're truly a one-stop shop for all your DFS needs. So make sure to come check out the site here at dfscheatsheet.com. So first of all, I want to start off by saying happy Halloween to everybody. Have a fun and safe trick-or-treating tonight. And yeah, man, we still got some money to be made though. We got a small 3-game slate. There's a couple really good games that are going to be fun to watch. One thing I quickly want to touch on before we do jump into this slate is one of the most important things in DFS, if not the absolutely most important, is bankroll management. We always recommend to our members playing an 80-20 strategy, 10% nightly. If you want a more in-depth explanation on what that is, hit me up, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at RotoBeast. Man, hey, it's important. We've had 8 NBA slates so far. Currently, we're 4-4. I understand it's not the best, but at the same time, we've lost 2 slates due to injury. There's nothing that we can do about injury. And you can't get down. You can't get mad at yourself when you lose. I mean, we can't predict the injury. Steph Curry, for example, last night is a perfect example. It's like it is what it is, and that's why bankroll management is so important. If you're trying to just go all in every night, and you're gonna have a bad night, you're gonna end up losing, and you're gonna be mad. And hey, you got to be mad at yourself because it's gambling at the end of the day, and you got to be safe. I'd rather be safe than sorry. That's what I always say. So, hey, it's important. Like I said, if you got any more questions, feel free to hit me up. I got you guys, man. So let's jump into this slate real quick before we do. If you guys don't mind, please take that quick second, click the like button down below. Helps me out. Really appreciate that from you guys. And let's go. So we'll start at the point guard spot and work our way down. First, I want to talk about Trae Young. He is out tonight. Definitely think it's going to open up some value in Atlanta, so we got to keep an eye on that news and see who's going to be starting in place of Trae Young. But we'll start with Lonzo Ball. Since Drew Holiday's been out the past 3 games, Lonzo Ball's definitely stepped it up. He's getting a lot more ball handling duties. And he's just been playing very, very well, playing some good defense. We know that Lonzo's a pretty good defender. 7,400. I like him whether Holiday is in or not, but I do like him a lot more if Holiday is out once again. Holiday currently is a game time decision. But Lonzo, 7,400, like I said, I think he's giving us a solid floor. Very good play for play today against Denver. On the flip side of things, you got Jamal Murray going against Lonzo. Jamal Murray, I mean, he is in play as well. I'd rather pay for Lonzo if Holiday is out. I think that Lonzo gives us a better floor. Jamal Murray is a little bit more scoring dependent, in my opinion, than Lonzo is. But I think that he is in play as well. Then we got DeJounte Murray. He's almost 7,000. I don't like the price tag for a guy who's playing 23 minutes a game right now, but he has shown us upside, even in these limited minutes. He already has a 42 and 45 fantasy point game. Strictly GPP for me just because the minutes aren't there, but you got to look at him on a small slate. Then you got Goran Dragic. He's a 6th man for Miami. Coming off the bench, still playing close to 30 minutes. 6,000, you need 30 for value. Dragic does have some upside, and I think that he's a guy that you can look at. Is going to be a lower owned guy today. Kendrick Nunn, he's a guy that stayed in that starting lineup even with Jimmy Butler coming back. He still scores 17 points. The guy's, he's a scoring machine. But with Jimmy Butler back, I think his minutes are going to go down a little bit. It's tough. You want to see some extra stats outside of scoring, and he just didn't get it last game. So I want to take another, game or two and kind of see, how he does with Jimmy Butler in there. But small slate, definitely think he is in play. Lastly, Patrick Beverley, 5,400 on the second end of a back-to-back. He only played 25 minutes yesterday, so I don't think I think he'll be all right today on the second end of a back-to-back. Going against the Spurs, I think it's going to be a pretty competitive game, and I think Patrick Beverley's a fair price. All you need is 27 for value. He's averaging 22 on the season. Moving on to shooting guard, we'll start with Jimmy Butler. Had his first game with his new team, and he played very well, man. 30 minutes, 21, 5, 2, 3 steals for 35 fantasy points. At this price tag, we need about 45. So, I mean, he didn't quite get us value there. But, I think he's going to give us a solid floor. Miami's going to ask a lot from him. Next, we got Drew Holiday. He is listed as probable today. So, the feeling I have with Lonzo if Drew Holiday plays. He'll be a good play today. Definitely he's a guy that's going to play a bunch of minutes. He's going to give you a decent floor as well. He hasn't necessarily been shooting the ball well to start the season, but he's a baller. He's definitely going to pick it up. Honestly, between Jimmy Butler and Holiday, it's kind of a coin flip for me which guy I want to go with. You got DeMar DeRozan, 7,800 against the Clippers. It's going to be an up-tempo game. DeRozan, starting the season off pretty solid. He's averaging 22 points a game, getting some rebounds, a couple assists as well. I think that DeRozan's a guy that you can look at. This Clipper and San Antonio game should be very competitive. Lou Williams, coming off the second inning of a back-to-back, played them last night. Clippers didn't have it without Kawhi Leonard going against the Jazz. And so the starters didn't really play too much minutes going into the fourth quarter. But I think he's a guy you can look at him. The guy's averaging 23 real-life scoring points a game, getting some assists, getting some rebounds, a little bit of defense also. 7,400, I think it's a good price for Lou Williams on a smaller slate. Josh Hart is looking like he'll probably go back Josh Hart will go back into kind of more of a bench role if Drew Holiday does come back today. So I just want to throw that out there. A couple more guys we can look at. Gary Harris, 5,600. He's playing the minutes. That's what I like. He's playing 32 to 34 minutes a game. It's still, too cheap of a price tag. The past 3 games, he has scored double digits as well, starting to kind of find his stroke. I like Gary Harris there. DeAndre Bembry, he's a guy that I think is a candidate that could start today for Trae Young. He's the one that started the second half of last game, and he did pretty good. Didn't have too bad of a game. If he's going to be the starter at 4,700, he's the guy you kind of just put in and you kind of move on. Outside of that, a couple more guys that are really standing out to me. I think you could look at a little bit deeper plays. You can look at JJ Redick. I think that he's a guy that is in play. Yes, I understand he hasn't had a really good game yet, but 4,200, you only need 21 for value, and he's a guy that can score 21 and just actual real life points. So he's a guy that I think that you can play with, probably have a little ownership. Another guy that possibly can get a minutes bump with Trae Young out could be Kevin Huerter. He's been right around 20 minutes. That's his minutes limit. If they're going to bump him up to 25 minutes and possibly he sneaks in that starting lineup, I think that he'll be a good play. You only need 20 for value, so you're not asking too much. Next, we'll move to the small forward spot. Talked about the Clippers coming off a loss yesterday. I think Kawhi Leonard, he'll be back today. He did rest yesterday. He's a guy that we can look at going against his old team. You got the narrative there. I really like Kawhi Leonard today. I think that Doc possibly rested Kawhi Leonard yesterday on the first end of a back-to-back. So Leonard's just ready to go and just kind of just tear up his old team. I think Kawhi is a really, really good play today. He's probably the guy that you'll want to pay up for. I like Kawhi. I like him a lot today. Then we'll go down a little bit. We got some guys like we got Brandon Ingram starting the season off on fire. Just been tearing it up. I knew this guy was going to be this player when he was with the Lakers. Nobody believed me, and look what he's doing. I understand it's only been through 4 games, but the guy has been playing very well. Going to get his minutes. The price tag is just crazy high. That's the only thing that's kind of scaring me with him. And then we got to wait, man. There's some guys that I like. I like these guys, but I got to see what happens with them. First is Justin Winslow with the back injury, Will Barton with the toe injury, and DeAndre Hunter, with the game time shit with his tooth or something like that. All of these guys are in play. I really like all 3 of these guys, to be honest with you. Hunter, he'll probably get some extra run with no Trae Young. I just got to wait and see if they're in. If all these guys are in, all these guys are in play, though. Definitely for sure. Then we got a guy like Cam Reddish. I know he's starting the season off pretty bad, but he's a guy that can also get some extra run at the guard spot with no Trae Young. We'll throw him out there real quick. Outside of that, another guy that I think we can look at, you can look at Rudy Gay. I think, he's a guy that the minutes haven't necessarily been there. They're kind of up and down. But this game, like I said, should be very competitive with the Clippers. Pop is going to want to win this game against Kawhi Leonard. He's going to play his horses, and one of those guys are Rudy Gay. The last guy I'll quickly just talk about, just GPP play, but you can look at Maurice Harkless. The minutes are kind of I mean, he's going to play close to 20 minutes a game. At a 4.1 price tag, you need 20 for value. He's a guy that can fill up the stat sheet, though, do a little bit of everything and play some good defense, and he'll get those defensive stats. Deep GPP play, but I definitely think that you can look at him as well. Power forward, there's a couple guys that I do like at the power forward spot. We'll start with the pay-up spots. You can look at John Collins. He may need a little bit extra. They may need him to score a little bit more with Trae Young out. Last game, he scored 30 points, man. Had a really good game. Definitely a guy that's in play. LaMarcus Aldridge on the flip side. We talked about this game should be very competitive. Pop is going to go all out. He's going to play his guys. I like LaMarcus Aldridge. I think that he's a guy that you could really look at to have a really good game. Then you got Bam, man. They traded Whiteside because they were really confident in Bam. And, I mean, he hasn't let them down to start the season. The guy's an absolute monster, playing 30-plus minutes a game, scoring double digits. He has a double-double in 3 of the 4 games. He's even passing the ball very well, getting those defensive stats. I like the floor that Bam is giving us, even at an 8.3 price tag. Definitely a guy that we can look at today. Then you got Paul Millsap, man. He's a guy, the minutes are all over the place. Some games he'll play 30, some games he'll play low 20s. It's just kind of a matchup dependent thing. But Millsap coming off the best game of the season so far against Dallas. 5,700 is a really good price tag for Paul Millsap. You can look at Jeremiah Grant on the flip side, kind of backing up Millsap. That's kind of a deep kind of GPP flyer right there. Jabari Parker, he's a guy, his minutes are, 22, 23 minutes a game. He's a guy, he hasn't had that monster game. And at a 4,800 price tag, Jabari Parker is a guy that can have monster games. And maybe he could possibly, I know Trae Young's a point guard, he's a power forward, etc. But he's a guy that can score the ball. So maybe he's a guy that they'll throw in there to kind of help fill the scoring void with, Trae Young kind of hurt. A couple guys I think you can look at for value plays. First thing first, I think you can look at a guy like Trey Lyles. I think he's a guy that he's an active player for sure, and I understand that he hasn't had necessarily the best start to the season, but I like this guy. If he's going to play around 24 minutes, I played this guy when he was with Denver, and I definitely think that you could play him. Today on this small slate, like I said, probably going to be fairly low owned as well. Last 2 guys, I mean, you can look at this guy, Nicola Melli. He's a guy that the minutes are not necessarily there. I understand. Obviously we want to see a little bit more minutes from him. But at 3,600 price tag, it's bare minimum basically. And we need bare minimum value, which is 18. Deep GPP play, just a guy that I'm throwing out there. Same thing with JaMychal Green. He's going to play around 20 minutes. Had a pretty good game yesterday in Utah with extra run. He's a guy, when he does get the minutes, I mean, he can definitely produce. Today on the second end of a back-to-back, against the Spurs, I think you can look at him. Bare minimum price tag. I'm just trying to find you guys some value, man. At the center spot, we'll finish it off. We'll start with the Joker. Going against New Orleans, they have no guy on the Pelicans that can stop this guy. Coming off a triple-double. He's already had 2 triple-doubles this season. 10.4, I mean, you need about 52 for value. Definitely can get there. It's going to be an up-tempo game. And I like Jokic a lot. I think he's a guy. It's either Jokic or Kawhi. I feel like you have to have one of those guys in your lineup. Montrezl Harrell played him last night, and it was absolutely horrible. He only gave us 13 minutes. That's the lowest outing by double of any other game that he's played this year. It was a little bit weird. The rotation was kind of, it was kind of shitty last night for Doc Rivers, to be honest with you. Harrell, I look for him to be a guy that's going to bounce back today. They'll probably put him on Aldridge a lot. I think that he can match up with him pretty well. Alex Lynn for Atlanta, 5.4. It's all about the minutes. If he's going to play minutes, I definitely think he's in play. Alex Lynn's the guy that showed us in the past. He does have 40 fantasy point upside. And I think that, you could consider him today. Let me see. Anybody else that I'm kind of looking at? I got a couple more. So, Zubac's a guy that I think you can look at against the Spurs. He's not playing the minutes. He's playing, almost 20 minutes a game. But, he's a guy that needs limited minutes and he can definitely hit value. GPP play, of course, but I think that he's a guy you can look at. Mason Plumlee, the minutes haven't been there for him. But I mean, I think that he's a guy you can look at as well. At a 3,900, he can be a value play. You only need 19 for value, and he's got you at least 20 in 2 of the 4 games. And then last but not least, I think that we can look at Okafor. I think that he's a guy that we could possibly look at to play if he's going to start in place of Derek Favors. The problem with Okafor is they just don't like giving this guy the minutes. I mean, we've seen it year in and year out, but when he does play, the guy can absolute crush. I mean, look at this. In 12 minutes against the Warriors, 6-5, 1-1-1. I mean, come on. Double that. Say he plays 24 minutes. That's 30 fantasy points easy right there. So, hey, man, let the guy start. Let the guy play minutes. If he is going to start, though, definitely think he's a guy you can look at as a value play. And that's really where I'm at, man. It's a small 3-game slate. I think it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. If you want, more in-depth analysis on the slate, or you want some core plays, anything like that, check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. And hey, good luck on your guys' contest tonight, all right? Peace out.